Yo, what's good? Your boy Southbridge 706. This is KTSE Ave, episode 219. It's myself, Marcus Sniffles, the usual suspects. Apparently, no clapping today, but we're clapping in our hearts and minds. There we go. There we go. What's cracking?
Yeah, I've been sick the last like day or two, but I feel like I'm back on the mend, so I should be good to go to podcast tonight. But yeah, I think this is going to be a fantastic episode. We got a lot of good topics, so I'm very excited to get this thing going.
Yeah, I have not been sick. I mean, I've been sick of my job. I've been sick of my child. I'm sick
That's
of
hate.
daylight savings. Uh, all the things, but like the great Glorilla said, at the end of the day's got to end. So we just out here every day, just trying to figure it out. But one thing I have been figuring out and getting back to my roots is this TikTok grind. After
Mm,
grinding up the content, we're back. I'm locked in, and it's one of those things where, like before I had my kid, I was on Instagram all the time posting videos, so I had more time. But it's one of those things with the content, I mean, shit, most TikTok videos aren't more than like a minute long. And one of the best things you have to do is just put the videos out. Like, don't over edit, don't over analyze, because you'll never know what could be the one that pops or goes viral. So just put it out. But I do recognize that some of these people have full fledged, like, multifaceted production teams for these TikToks. There's no way that they're just normal people making videos, but there are normal people out there that make videos that get clicks, views, followers. Like I just follow one guy. I didn't follow him. I look at his page just to get like some insight as far as like what he was doing, and he just grinded it out, just kept putting in the work. All he does is play retro video games. Liam G, Parrot. I got a request to say Parrot from Liam G in the chat. What's good, Parrot? So hopefully this isn't some freaky sexual gratification, but if it is, I guess I did it with consent because you said please, and I responded to that. So shout out to Liam G in the chat. But yeah, man, just gotta grind this content out. Trying to put Marcus on the TikTok studio. Shout to shout out to Miso.
what?
Shout out to Miso fucking soup. Yo, this look like the Joe Budden podcast. I mean, not really. We're black. That's about it. We're not getting that type of money. We don't have the type of production, that type of studio. But yeah, shout out to JBP. They do great work. Shout out to New Jersey. Um, RIP Liam G. I guess he just lost his parrot. Maybe it flew away. Maybe it could fly back. Matthew Call was good. The chat is live tonight. Was good chat. But yeah, man. If y'all on TikTok, follow me Southbridge706. Trying to go live. That's the goal. And apparently, you have to have like a bunch of followers. Oh, okay. Well, miso fucking soup. Yes, that is about all we got going on. Well, I'll give you another thing. I did used to live in New Jersey, so I do listen to Joe Budden podcast. So a lot of things they talk about that when they like local the show out, I know like exactly what they're talking about. So chat New Jersey. But yeah, put the content out. Put it out. The TikTok studio is cool because you can like schedule posts. And that's one of the biggest things for me is that like I just finding a time to make some stuff, and then like sometimes you have more time than others, but if you have a good day, you make a couple clips, then you can load them up, schedule them, and put it out there and give yourself more of a cushion to make more clips. So if you're on TikTok, follow me, Esprit706. I post a lot of sneaker stuff. I do watch anime. I have an idea for a post I want to do, but it's already kind of been done, but I don't care. But uh, let's see. I had to roast. Liam G says I had to roast my whole class because what they said about him. I mean, was this like a Columbine style roasting or like a Drewski type roasting? Let me know.
Columbine
Let me
roasting
know.
is crazy.
Colorado is the fucking world capital of like mass shootings, but that's another story for another day. Hashtag America first. But yeah, definitely put the content out. Again, there's gonna be a new video dropping tomorrow, and we're gonna try to drop them every day till we hit this goal. So definitely tap in. One of them started crying. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Sometimes people have to cry. Sometimes you cry, you grow, become a better person, or you hang yourself in the bathroom. It's choose your own adventure. choose your own adventure type situation. You know,
hang yourself in the bathroom. What?
Oh, I meant that like I meant that.
Welcome to Lumen.
I meant that. Yeah, shout to Heli R. I meant that in a
like
not
chilling
literally.
out in the bathroom.
I was being facetious, like hanging out. No trigger warning needed. We're just doing it. Shout out, thank you, Liam G. I try to stream as best I can. If you're on TikTok, follow me, Espree706. Share my posts. We're trying to get lit. So, all right, enough about me. You know, talking about TikTok, because who really gives a fuck? People were crying 3 months ago. This was getting shut down, and
yeah,
we're still out here getting these TikToks off. Which is, I want to say something that's, I don't know if it's strange. I'm not going to get shamed. Shout out to Helsky 100. Follow me on TikTok, Espree706. I follow back. But my TikTok has been having some weird ads, and yeah, definitely ask some questions. Not weird, but ads that I didn't think would show up on my TikTok. As far as like dating sites, I've seen a range of dating sites, from like Christian dating sites to finding transgender members. So it's been a weird dichotomy, you could say, of TikTok. So damn, McChicken, why we gotta be Unc? What's good? I mean, what's popping, McChicken? You know what? I will accept the Unc label. I remember McChickens were $1. My go-to meal at McDonald's would be a McChicken, a small fry, and a Hi-C orange. Yeah, I don't know about them days. Bro, this dude keep asking this fucking question again. Is this the same person? Somebody's already had us ask this question. Helsky 100. Kind of random, but would you rather watch a tree grow or a Negro? I'm not gonna lie, buddy. That's a little might be a little racist. Let me see the front of your hand, please.
Might be a flag on the play.
Do you wear sunblock in the wintertime? Are you melanated, King? Nah. Anywho, where we at? Because these motherfuckers, they acting crazy tonight. Brown.
Where were you at on January 6th?
You're definitely white. Nobody describes themselves as brown.
I'm brown. All right.
Jesus Christ. Shout out to our brown brothers and sisters out there, holding it down. All right. Not that anybody cares for me, but I'm just gonna be real quick on this. And let me see this, like my TikTok contact running real quick.
Uh-oh.
We all know that Kirk Cousins was going to stay signed to the Falcons. This isn't anything new for anybody listening to Locked On Falcons. This shouldn't be a surprise, but there has been rumblings that they still might find a trade partner for him. General manager has kind of doubled down, saying like, hey, we're cool with having a $50 million backup, which is leverage I don't think they thought they had, because, hey, we're firm about keeping you. We're not going to let you go. So you're already kind of in the twilight of your career. I don't think you can afford to sit on the bench for an entire year, right? Because it would behoove you to get to a team as quick as possible, before the Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilsons of the world lock in with these teams that don't have quarterbacks, and then you're going to also fight against the draft. So it would behoove Kirk Cousins to waive his no trade clause and make a deal, or restructure his contract in a way that is friendly for the Falcons to trade him, or ride the bench. I mean, you're getting paid, but again, at this level and as much money as Kirk has made, look at his contracts. He's a fucking legend at the bank. He don't need the money. He wants to play. So if he wants to play, he'll waive his contract and get the fuck on. So it is what it is.
Where's your water bucket at? Not carrying the water for that great signing of Kirk Cousins and drafting a quarterback in the top 10. We're done doing that.
Look, I'm a well-known Penix pumper, so
Oh,
I
now
don't know what you I've been
that
pumping
wasn't
Penix since day one.
that wasn't the case in week 1. That wasn't the case during free agency when y'all maxed out a 39-year-old one Achilles having quarterback with a not so strong arm. But yeah, I think, well, waiving his no trade clause, like maybe he'll do that. But like if you look at the landscape of the NFL right now, like what other options, what teams are available for him to even go to?
The Browns is one that has been floating around a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. I think they had a meeting
Steelers.
with like Russell Wilson, but then Aaron Rodgers is still out there, and it's like if you're one of those two teams, right? It's like we can either just outright sign Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, or we can give up assets for Kirk Cousins. Like, which one are we doing? Like, I'd rather just get those two guys for free, essentially.
No, but the thing is, you're not going to, because Atlanta is not letting him go. Look, if shit goes south this season, Terry's out of here anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter. So
He should have been out of here once this thing blew up in his face.
That's fair.
But I mean, you were one of the main people out here saying it was a good idea, though.
That's fake news.
That was you. That was you.
Miso Suit. What do you want to talk about?
The North remembers. The North remembers. South Breeze 706 was out here carrying water for the Falcons. When they
I wouldn't say
like $30 million. You said it was a great idea to do it.
At the point of when they make decisions, you have to either A, fight them tooth or nail, even though it's not going to change anything, or have to make logical reasoning for why they did what they did.
There was no logical reasoning for it, and it's not about fighting them. It's about acknowledging the mistake. It's about at least acknowledging. You wouldn't even like acknowledge that it was a mistake.
We don't know it's a mistake yet, though.
It is. Y'all lost Grady Jarrett. He's gone now.
Look, if we want to have an honest talk about Grady Jarrett, I get it.
Here we go.
I get it. He was a great beam of leadership for this franchise, but it pays what it weighs. And unfortunately, he's been injured. He came off an Achilles injury, and he hasn't been the guy that.
Are you talking about the
quarterback? He was. I'm talking about Grady Jarrett.
I mean, Kirk Cousins was coming off an Achilles, didn't perform, but I don't know. At least Grady Jarrett had been productive in y'all's uniform. Kirk Cousins took all that money, showed up, stunk it up for 8 games, and then went to the bench. And now he's like, well, y'all ain't gonna trade me unless I want to go. Y'all are gonna have to cut me, but he's gonna get all his money. So whatever.
I mean, money's not real. It's like the salary cap.
It is.
All right,
and to Grady Jarrett it is.
What I will say about Myles Garrett is, again, Myles Garrett, he said he cared about his legacy and winning, but he honestly really cared about being a ski mask legend because my brother in Christ, why would you sign back to live in Cleveland, Ohio?
He said It's not about the money. And just got mad. He got $40 million a year. It was like, all right, bro, let's see if we can make this thing shake.
I'd love to see, and this is what I don't understand. I'm sure he's gotten paid before. This can't be his first big check.
Nah,
but no. I would have loved to see. Myles Garrett on like the Eagles or something ignorant. Something ignorant, just some crazy shit. Like you already got the money, bro. Go to the Chiefs. Go play out next to Chris Jones or on the opposite side of Chris Jones. Like just go do something like outlandish. But hey, man, money talks, bullshit walks. Shout out to that Black King for getting his coins. I'm sure they have nice houses in Cleveland. I'm sure there's things to do out there. I would never know because I'm never ever gonna find out because I'm never living in Ohio. So shout out to all the Ohioans, highest paid for now, he's the highest paid non-quarterback. But you still got Trey Hendrickson out there who hopefully the Falcons are still monitoring that situation to bring him in.
Get the fuck out of here.
Fantastic.
What?
I'm dead serious. They're monitoring that situation. He's a potential big splash.
Who told you that? Who said that?
Sources.
Falcons fan 69 said that?
sources.
Ain't no credible source said the Falcons are looking to trade for. They're not going to trade for Trey Hendrickson and
No,
Max
no, no.
Snell. They're not doing that.
There's mechanisms within the salary cap, and the people that get paid a lot of money, they know how to maneuver around that. But it's been quiet for both teams. The only move he really made, his job depends on it. So he better be working some Patrick Mahomes satanic black magic to make this happen. I don't know. I would love to see a documentary on these backdoor deals, but that's the word in the curb. So and that was my thing. It's like if they were not going to re-sign Grady Jarrett, they have to make a move like that where it's going to kind of shelter, or it's going to kind of cushion the PR hit, but then also improve your team. So if not, then you're really looking crazy because old boy we signed from Georgia is not going to get it done. I forgot his name because he's not really important, but he's only on a 1 year, $10 million deal. So Leonard Floyd, not really moving the needle. Just a guy, in my opinion, just a small piece to the bigger puzzle. But we'll see what happens. It's the offseason's still young. Draft hasn't happened yet. You know, Kyle Pitts is still on the roster. I'm sure he'll be traded or flipped. I've heard that the Bengals might be interested in him, allegedly, word in the streets. So maybe they're trying to cook something up. So we'll see about that. But shout out to the Browns, except for the nasty man. Alrighty, let's talk about really quick. So going back to social media, I know you mentioned I haven't been on Blue Sky in a minute. I'm trying to really lock in on this TikTok shit, and Blue Sky is really just an echo chamber of a lot of things. Like I can log in on any day, so it's gonna be the same shit going on. However, there is another social media that got on there before that called Spill. And I only bring it up to say that Spill is offering like the ability to invest in the website, like to be an early investor, like kind of going public, like an IPO situation. And it's just kind of interesting how like, and even myself, a lot of black people fled to Blue Sky versus Twitter. And I think only because the interface is pretty much the same. It's literally the same website, essentially. Spill is a little bit weird, a little bit different, but I am interested in the prospect of possibly investing like a couple of dollars in it because it could pop. But at this point, it feels like Blue Sky is the dominant secondary market for social media. Like a lot of celebrities and sports commentators have kind of gone there. I don't know what the space is for Spill, if that makes sense. Just seems like it's kind of out there. People are using it, and there's obviously like some sort of interest. I just don't know what the function for it would be. Maybe it could be to the point where maybe one day it buys Twitter. Well, I don't think they have enough money for that, but I don't know. It's an interesting situation. I thought I'd bring that up as we boycott places like Target and Amazon and Tesla. We should also kind of invest some of those dollars into these black-owned entities. So that's my 2 cents on that. And Target is really getting their teeth kicked in. Like
Target's getting cooked out here.
I know black people, fuck with Target, but I really didn't know it was like that to the point where they are like really hurting. Like
discounts about to go crazy.
So, oh man, it's funny you say that. I was listening to a podcast, and they have like the pre-roll like advertisements. And I promise you, one of the advertisements is like a Walmart choir singing, talk about black creators and come shop here. I'm like, oh, Walmart is like really leading into diversity, equity, inclusion. Like they're really trying to kick Target's back in. And they were saying Walmart is really now trying to go after the more luxury Target market, I guess, because like Target was looked at as like the more bougie version of Walmart. But now I think Walmart sees like there's blood in the water. They kind of want to attack that market. So,
I mean, that's what happens when you have a Starbucks in your store. It's deemed more classier, even though Starbucks is pretty trash outside of the lemon loaves.
I go with the pumpkin loaves, but yeah, they Starbucks fired a bunch of people. Starbucks is trash. Like,
yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, again, I think I've had this talk. I can't remember who I had it with, but like capitalism ruins everything, right? Like I've been to the the original Starbucks store in Seattle before, it was very cool, very interesting. It was before peak COVID, so it was like completely empty when there's usually a line to get in there. But like, I'm sure the first Starbucks is really good, right? Just like I'm sure the first anything was really good. But then once you get into like mass production, world globalization, all that stuff,
Quality
then your
goes
product,
down.
yeah. Like I'm sure the first McDonald's hamburger was probably banging, but
Oh,
now that you have McDonald's, billions served, you know, that hamburger meat turns into kangaroo meat. You know,
when it was just millions served, it was pretty good. But when it hit the billions, it's like, all right, this shit kind of trash now, dog.
Well, you know what? Shout out to the McGriddle. The McGriddle is undefeated.
Yeah, the McGriddle's never let me down.
Sausage
McGriddle?
Yes. I don't care what they put in it to make it taste like that. If I grow another limb, it is what it is. McGriddles are undefeated. I don't think there's a breakfast sandwich that can kind of fuck with that. I did, however, have a Wendy's breakfast sandwich the other day, and I was surprised that it wasn't trash. Pleasantly surprised it wasn't garbage. It was a basic. It was like a croissant, egg, bacon, cheese sandwich. The sauce was kind of weird, but it wasn't horrible. It wasn't.
You gotta get the breakfast burrito wrap from Wendy's. It's got like sausage and like wedges and cheese and egg. It's good. It's filling too. But like when it comes to breakfast, it's the McGriddle all day. Like I'll take that over anything fast food breakfast wise. Like it's undefeated.
Undefeated.
That shit is Bill Russell.
Shout out to Bill Russell or R.I.P. I think he's gone to the ancestral plane. He lived a great life. But yeah, man, the Tesla, according to President Trump, there's some real sicko shit going on with this. America, man. I need to make a countdown calendar on my phone to be like, yo, are we gonna survive? I ain't never seen no shit like this in my fucking life, man. It's embarrassing, man. Shout out to Jazz. I'm not gonna say why, but shout out to her trying to expose me on the interwebs, but we'll keep that to ourselves. Matter of fact, look, Jasmine, let me ISO. That's a rental car, all right. It's a rental car. I was not, I'm not even gonna continue this line. Appreciate the follow. Shout to Texas. It's a rental for public facing reasons. That's all I'm saying. But there's a lot of people there's a very high number of Teslas that are on the resale market right now. I guess the stocks are going down. I guess sales were down, but I mean that kind of happens when you make Nazi salutes. Your European customer base is not going to make those purchases anymore. Like when you put tariffs on people, other countries are not going to purchase those cars. Like I just don't understand what the plan was. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But I mean, shout out to and again, you have like one of the most generally by like numbers on one of the more unpopular presidents advertising this for you. And even before he did that, like where's your finger on the pulse? Like prior to the advertisement, there's been mad stories since the whole Nazi salute situation of people calling Teslas swastikars, right? There's been Teslas getting vandalized. There's been people that are so upset that they, owned a Tesla before this whole shit happened, that they're like, there's been an influx of sales of people who make bumper stickers, like anti-Elon Musk Tesla bumper stickers have gone up like 500%. There's definitely a market for that right now. There are people even going as far as putting fake brand labels on their Teslas. Like they're putting Toyota badges on there, allegedly.
That's nasty.
Rivian badges. And it's just like
we can tell them Cybertrucks, man. We know Honda doesn't make those things, man. Come on, you can't hide the Tesla truck, the Cybertruck, whatever the fuck they call them.
Well, and I think it's depending on where you live too, because like I read a story that there's a guy that wanted to remain anonymous, but he bought a Cybertruck, and like his neighbors really don't fuck with him. Like he really feels like he's potentially in danger. Like he's like. Damn. Yeah, he put like a fake something on his car just because the heat was on him so bad for driving that car or whatever. So he's like, yeah, man, this is fucked up out here. So my thing is having the president of the United States go advertise your car. I don't think that's probably hurting more than anything. If we're being honest, we're being transparent. So
I'm pretty sure that's not legal either. I don't think you can do like commercials for brands like that, especially like at the White House for somebody that you claim is not like working with or for or employs you, like, or that funds the stuff that you do, like the whole conflict of interest. Like, when is that going to show up? Like, when is anybody going to call that out? Like, Elon Musk kind of propped Donald Trump up this election and used Twitter to really get his, like, boost his message out there and kind of silence the other side, but really amplified Trump's voice. And then, like, Musk is in the Oval Office giving speeches and making decisions and heading up boards, and now the president is doing commercials at the White House for Musk. Like, what? That what? Like, I feel like I feel like I've said this before, and I say it a lot. The rest of the world looks at the United States the way the United States looks at Florida. Like, we're the Florida of the world, and it's only going to get worse from here.
I mean, I feel like it could be much worse. Hopefully it doesn't get any worse. I think we're stable. We're just I think a lot of people realize the poor choice they made. There's been a lot of like town halls where, Republican led town halls of their leadership, governors or whatever. They're getting cooked by like their local
those are bad
constituents. So that's it sucks that it had to get to this point, but that's kind of a good sign for like the midterms and then like the next election. And just the whole thing with like President Trump, the constant contradictions. He's, saying the stock market was Joe Biden's fault, but then like a month later, he's saying like the stock market's about to be the greatest stock market ever. It's just, yeah. I mean, this is all stuff you can look up, Googleable information, but you just gotta survive. Just gotta survive long enough, for the nukes to not be shut off. Will be good. Which is a perfect segue to Paradise. So again,
hey, get the water bucket. Get the water bucket because he's about to carry some more water.
Right, let's ISO.
Get your water. Oh my god.
Spoiler alert. If you've been on my TikTok, I'm about to talk about Paradise, arguably one of the greatest shows I've seen in the last 10 years.
Jesus
I would say
Christ.
it's giving Severance to run for its money off of this first season. So
what?
This is your spoiler alert. Yeah, you haven't seen
best
season
show in 10 years. Best show in 10 years.
Let's think. Let's see.
Snowfall came out.
Mid-fall. You know what? I don't even want to do that because I hate that y'all got on Twitter and lied about Snowfall. I'm glad they didn't bring that
season 1 of Snowfall was better than this. Season 1 of Snowfall was better than Paradise. Season 1.
I don't think the
first few seasons.
I don't think there's an episode of Snowfall that's better than episode 7 of this.
I don't think you remember Snowfall that well from the beginning. Like it didn't end.
The problem.
But it was more than one season. We're talking about like a whole full. Well, I'm talking just.
I only have one season. And we've already the drug story has already been told 1,000 times. It's nothing like novel.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's the best show that I've seen in 10 years. Like Insecure came out in the last 10 years, right?
All right, that's not we're not doing that. That's not the same.
What do we? It's a TV show. It's not better than Black Mirror.
That's not a linear TV show. That's
oh my god.
I would say
every
this
show
up there with
is gonna get dismissed.
No, I would say it's up there with the Last of Us type shows. Last of Us is probably one of the better shows I've seen recently.
Last of Us smokes Paradise.
Last of Us has HBO money too, though, so that's and also Last of Us
Paradise has Amazon money.
It's Hulu.
Oh no, it's on Hulu. Who owns Hulu? Oh, that's ABC.
Fuck if I know. But then also too, Last of Us is based on the game, so there's kind of a template. I don't know if Paradise is based on a book or something like that, but if this is like an original idea, I'm giving it more points. What else has been on TV that's been worth watching? It's definitely better than House of the Dragons season 1. I didn't even finish season 2.
I still think Snowfall, just season 1. If we're just talking season 1, I think season 1 has. Well, I was gonna say season 1 of Snowfall is. I think it's better than season 1 of Paradise, or it's on par. But Succession, it's not better than that. What?
There needs to be a series, because Succession was not a series show. Succession was. It was good, but
you are carrying water tonight.
Succession is like bizarre. Succession is like again, Succession is good, but it was just it was a very unserious television. I was like, bro, what are we doing? Like
the amount of water you're carrying.
If Kendall would have killed himself in the show, then I'd have like, all right, this is elite television. He should have jumped off the top of that building or hung himself or something.
You know what? I found a list. I bet I could name at least. I might be able to name 10 shows that were better. Just if we're going off of one season, like the first season of these shows. Squid Games, season 1, I would say is better than Paradise. The Last of Us.
I said Last of Us.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say Severance.
The thing with Squid Games, I would never watch Squid Game again though. I'm going to rewatch Severance.
I'm not gonna watch Paradise. Yeah, I'm not watching Paradise again. Season 1 of The Bear was elite. I don't know if you watched Andor. It's a Star Wars show. I would take that over Paradise. Peacemaker. That's a toss up for me. Let's see. There's a few shows that I know people have watched, like Queen's Gambit. I didn't watch that show, but I've heard a lot of good things about it.
It's based on a book.
Let me see. Yeah, I'm just not. I'm not willing to say it's the best show that I've seen in like the last 10 years. Like that's high praise, and nah, I'm not giving them that. I can't give them that because I'll say this, that the main like actors were really good, but some of the lesser characters were kind of like, it was hit or miss for me. But it's a good show, but best show in the last decade. Nah, I can't do that. I can't do that.
This shit is gas. So I only came here to talk about one episode, which is episode. Actually, let me go through. Let me check something real quick. I'm on IMDb right now. Let's see what we got. Bang.
Better Call Saul. Great show.
Didn't finish it.
I would take that over Paradise.
All right.
Shogun. So did you watch Shogun?
No. Episode 1 got an 8.3. Episode 2, 7.6. Episode 3, 7.6. Episode 4, 8.2. Episode 5, 8.2. Episode 6, 8. And episode 7, a 9.6.
What about episode 10 or episode 9 or episode 8? Sorry.
Episode 8 got 8.1. Which isn't bad.
Nice little drop off from that peak of episode 7.
Episode
massive
7
drop off.
It's not massive. It's a point and some change.
What's the whole point over?
Again, if Paradise was on HBO, we're having a different conversation. But episode 7, there's a lot to talk about with episode 7. I should have made a list, but I think I can figure it on top of my head. So if you've watched Paradise, the first question that I asked,
what's wrong with Peacemaker? Peacemaker was good. It's a good show. I'm not saying it was better than Paradise, but it was a fine show. I'm just saying there's a conversation to be had.
I watched it. I didn't remember anything about it. Shout out to John Cena though. Let's go back to Paradise. Episode 7. So episode 7, for y'all to watch Paradise. Essentially this is another kind of dystopian post-apocalyptic show, but I like how they did it throughout the season up to this point where you don't really know exactly what happened. You kind of got they kind of alluded to what might have happened, but then when you see like the flashbacks throughout the season, you're like, damn, did what happened? Did this happen, or was it what the scientist guy said? So initially, what happens? There was a scientist named Dr. Loge who said like, hey, the polar caps are gonna melt and it's gonna cause like a big ass fucking tsunami and blow everything away. But as you're watching like flashbacks, it's like, yo, what? This doesn't look like the damage from a tsunami. So fast forwarding to episode 7, essentially what happens is that they were planning to build this underground city, spoiler alert, which is Paradise, which is in like Colorado. So it was like a pretty much an underground bunker the size of what they say, like Boise, Idaho, or some shit like that. So whatever, shit pops off. I guess the Antarctica melts quicker than they thought, so now they have to get the fuck out of there. So like the world is getting engulfed in these big ass tidal waves at all times. It's insane, right? So and this is the kind of the scary part is like, yo, dog. Meanwhile, we're having this world-ending tidal wave, but like Russia and China are shooting off nukes. It's like, what are we doing?
They're so gung ho to get the resources that they're nuking each other. Like, what? Keep your own shit, bro. Why you trying to take everything?
Like, yeah, dog. Like that. It's like, yeah, it's for the after. I'm like, the after of what? What are we talking about?
Send a nuke to my house.
About? And you know what? This show is a little bit arrogant because, like, bro, they didn't have any. They're just assuming there was no like intel from these other countries that they probably knew this was happening, so they probably should have been building their own bunker or something like that. Like, shouts to the show for thinking like the spies ain't out here stealing our information. Nobody knew about this shit, but
all our data is all over the place, but they didn't know about this massive undertaking.
I've had my Yahoo Mail password stolen 16 times. Like,
my social security number's been to Russia, to China, all over the place. It's just been ping-ponging all over the world.
But they didn't know Antarctica was gonna melt. Okay, get the fuck out of here.
That's crazy to think that, like, if there's a global disaster, the first thing some of these countries are gonna do is start nuking each other. It's almost like if Hurricane Katrina was coming to New Orleans, all the niggas started shooting each other. Like, you're not helping. Why are you doing this? So I can take your block after the flood? All right, man. Okay.
All right. So there's nothing I can do to sell the greatness of this episode, but it was definitely intense. Like, it was a fucked up episode. Like, really cute. Like, I clutched my pearls multiple times watching this show. I was like, Agent Collins, hey man, I know the president's helping you. What's going on? Oh, I can't say that. Agent Collins, I got this sick kid. I got this sick kid. Hey, I got you, big dog. I got you. 30 minutes later, she's staring up at a helicopter.
Like, bro, what?
The niggas.
You knew. Them niggas was shady as fuck, bro. And the president knew the day before.
They knew like 10 years earlier. That's the even worse part.
Well, they knew it was coming, but no, he knew like the day before. Like, no, it's coming. Like 10 years, they were kind of like preparing for it. But like they knew it was coming a lot faster than what they were saying, and that's why he was like, "Oh, I hinted that you should tell your wife not to go to Atlanta." But I mean, for the most part, your wife should never go to Atlanta.
That's another conversation for another day. But yeah, man, even like after he did the press conference, and then like he does the press conference. Well, there was the fake one. And he's like, nah, he's just like, fuck that. This isn't right.
It's going to get played like 3 hours later or something like that.
He goes live and it's like the people that are in your building are seeing this and they're like, hey, bro, what the fuck? And they're like, hey, where are you going?
Where are y'all going? I'm trying to go with y'all.
They put them vest on.
He was like, hey, bro. Sterling K. Brown was like, hey, man, get the vest. Get the strap real quick because he about to go live and it's about to get active.
Which is fair, and that does seem like the most realistic like reaction to that. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna try to find somewhere in the White House to hide, but Yeah. So my first question is, all right. I have a lot of questions. My first question is related to my second question. My first question is, after bro that got his head blown off, who had the football, the little nuclear football thing, um, he got his head blown off. He was clearly going on a helicopter, right? There is now a seat free. Why couldn't old boy take his seat? I'm confused. It's like, hey, your
That's a good
mission is
question.
your mission is to stay here. I was like,
Just stand by the door.
what are you talking about? And bro pulled out the strap and then got his fucking head blown off. He's like, he wasn't gonna shoot me. He was going. I, he's better than me.
Hey,
I'd have aired out the whole plane. And he had a machine gun. I'm airing out the whole helicopter. Everybody. If I'm not going, nobody's going. We're all staying here today. But yeah, I'm like, that doesn't like, bro. There was an extra seat. Like, was the vetting process that thorough that like one variable person couldn't go to the fucking hideout? Like, I didn't. That was kind of dumb. All right. So my next question is, or my next thought was, how do they determine the number of people? Right. I know they said there was 25,000 people that were allowed in the place. How did they determine that? Like, how do you? I know obviously you want, I don't know, all the smart people, doctors,
well, yeah,
engineers.
it
So,
was
like,
more.
what is
It's
the breakdown? Like,
I think it's more so like the skill sets that you provide for that place. Like you want to have a community that is thriving, and it's like you don't want to bring someone that's not really doing well for themselves or hasn't really acclimated to society that well, or just isn't up to your standard of how a human should be. And it's like you can in episode 8, you kind of see why they were so strict about who they let in, because the one person that or the two people that slipped in are the reason why shit went to hell. So yeah, there's a reason, because I mean they didn't have any problems whatsoever, and they let one like out of the 20,000 people they let in, because one person slipped through, everything is fucked up. Like it all got fucked up over one person. Now imagine 10% of the population are questionable people.
I get that, but bro was like an Secret Service agent. I feel like he was vetted to a point, right? Like, I don't
Who are
know.
you talking
I
about?
found the
Not that guy. Not Paul.
the dude that got his head blown off. He wanted to get on the helicopter, and it was
No, I'm
like,
not.
nah, you
Well,
got to
yeah,
stay here.
I mean, I get that, but it's like that wasn't part of the plan. That is not part of the plan.
Okay, well then, how did we get to the number 25,000 people? Right? In theory, in my head, it's got to be like a 70-30. It's got to be like a 70% of the people were there to keep the.
I think you're frozen. Like,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, I can hear you now.
because in theory, if you have less people, it's you can a last longer, your resources can last longer, and then you have like the wiggle room to repopulate if needed. Like I don't know, it was a weird. It was weird. I don't know. I guess they said they wanted to make it feel like a real community. So I guess if you have 10,000 10,000 people in that space, you probably feel very isolated. So I don't know. That's just I don't know.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
I feel like that's a
Are
solid
there strip
enough
clubs in
number.
paradise? Like
I don't
other
think
brothels? Like what,
I
are
don't
there
think
vices
so.
down there? I mean, they got bars, but bars are usually seedy places where leads to underground activities. I don't know.
The strip club
Damn,
in
that
Paradise would be crazy though. That would have been a nice little storyline to have.
maybe season 2. Maybe some people start to divert to
I, s-
other activities.
degenerate
Also,
behavior.
like you said, I didn't see too many black people down there, so I'm already hashtag
Yeah,
and racism. Like we couldn't get the brothers now. The brothers could build the place, but we couldn't get a seat at the table.
that's an
You
A.
got
Welcome to America.
the agent, you got Collins, you got his kids. Outside of that, I didn't see any other black people. Now that I think about it, so
That weren't
hope
actively working for the government, not just regular black people out there. I tell you what though, with this show, it better not go past like 3 seasons. Like, there's no reason for this show to go that long.
That's my biggest fear, and I thought about that too. It's like I don't like watching things for the purpose of like trying to predict what's going to happen. You should just watch stuff to enjoy it, but it's kind of the
Mhm.
society we live in now. But yeah, even the way that things that they unveiled in the first season, I thought they would kind of stretch that. So that kind of makes me think, like you're saying, this can't go longer than for it to continue being as good as I think it is. It can't go longer than 3 seasons. It can't,
Mm.
based on what happens at the end of the last episode. Like, which again, that part I didn't think they would do all that quickly, but yeah, this
The
shit.
show season 1 should have been
There's
10
no there's
episodes.
nowhere to go.
It should have been 10 episodes. It either should have been 10 episodes or the person we're doing spoilers. So the librarian
Yeah,
that they needed to flesh out that storyline a little bit more because I'm cool with the idea of people trying to guess what's going to happen or try to predict, who the bad guy is or who the killer is. But
that was a good
but
plot twist.
it's not a good plot twist because it was like a character that nobody even saw. So it's like that's not even an option. And so like the reveal of him being that guy, there's no emotional weight to that because it's like, okay, I've seen the guy twice and he wasn't important. So it's like if the plot twist was the person that killed the president was, say, Sterling K. Brown's daughter, or if it was one of the other characters that we kind of had established and had some kind of relationship with, that would have been a better plot twist. But it was like, oh, you remember that guy from episode 3 that talked for 5 seconds? Yeah, he did all of this. He was part of building the cave. He found out that this was some big government conspiracy, and then he found out that the people working there were going to die, and he tried to shut it down. And once he found out it was a government thing and that his workers were going to die working on it, he decided, you know what? I'm going to go try to assassinate the president. He tries to go assassinate the president, fails, goes to jail in the same state where the bunker is being built, and happens to get broke out of that jail and steals a security guard's uniform and happens to find the dumbest couple on the planet to steal their IDs and find another woman that happens to look like that woman. And they just happen to get into paradise and he happens to be alive. Like, we did all that in one episode?
I
All of
think that
that?
was I think that was fine. I didn't have a
No,
problem with that.
no. Episode 8 was trash. It was trash. That's a terrible ending to a show. That's a terrible ending.
Nah, because
You
they
can't
still
put all.
had.
You can't give me that much information about a character I saw for 5 minutes in the first 7 episodes. No, you can't. You have to. Here's my thing. There should have been a few episodes where it's like, hey, we're going to the library. Let's talk to. Give me some sort of interaction with that guy to at least put him on my radar. Like there was nothing with that guy. Nothing.
But I think
So it
that's the
doesn't
cool
hit.
part about it because it's just like, all right, cool. Like who did it? And it's like, oh shit, it's the librarian. That's crazy.
There's no emotional attachment to that. Like I don't feel anything. I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he did that. You don't feel any motivation. It's just like, okay, this guy did it, but let's spend the next 45 minutes of this episode giving you this elaborate flashbacks of all these super convenient things that happen with this guy for him to be able to get to this exact point to do that particular thing. And the idea that he was just not going to do it. And then the president just walks into the library and was like, you know what? I'm going to kill him now. I forgot. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that again. Like,
I mean,
nah,
there's a lot
nah.
going on, but all right.
Like
I
even
guess
so, like so here's an example. So like, would what's your boy's name? Paul, the guy that went to jail as a kid. Was his name Paul or
Officer
Peter?
Pace.
Pace. I knew it started with a P. So when he got killed by his girlfriend, that there was an emotional reaction to that because they established a relationship between those two. If it had been like some one night stand that they showed from episode 1 that had 2 lines and it was some rando that killed him, that wouldn't have that wouldn't have been the type of gut punch that it was with the actual woman that like we saw and had an established background and character. Like it's different. It makes it just, like I said, that maybe they didn't know, maybe Hulu didn't know what they had. and maybe they didn't know how good the show was going to be, and they're like, "Hey, we only got 8 episodes. We're gonna have to fit this in somewhere." So I'll give him a little, shoot him a little bail there. But the show should have either been 10 episodes or they should have put that guy in more episodes.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Billy Pace thing, I predicted that was gonna happen. That was a little weak story writing right there.
Predict what was going to happen?
The end of the episode.
What? Oh, his episode?
Yeah.
But did you know it was going to be her that did it?
Yeah.
Really?
It was. Yeah.
Based on what?
You better send the biggest motherfucker you got. I was like, oh yeah, it's definitely not gonna be the biggest mother. Yeah, I was like, yeah, that was. It was to the point where I was watching it at night. I was like, you know what? I think I know what's about to happen, but if I watch this tonight, I'm not gonna be able to sleep. So let me go to bed. And I woke up and I finished. I'm like, yep, I knew this was going to happen. So,
but was there a feeling attached to that when it happened though? Like when it happened, did you feel anything with that? Like any kind of shock or like maybe not surprise since you knew it was going to happen, but kind of like a gut punch of like, God, like this is a bad look. Like I can't believe she did this. Like the betrayal. Like, did you feel any of that watching it with her?
I mean, it just opened up the window that there's more going on down there than we thought. A lot of weird shit going on. But also too, that was a classic, and just sliding some anime. That was a classic anime template of an episode. So if you're like me who consumes a lot of anime, anytime there's an episode that's like the title, the character's name, or there's mad flashbacks, that character was going to die.
Oh yeah,
100%. I was like, oh, this is what we're doing. Yep, the title of the episode was Officer Billy Pace. Yep, R.I.P. to that guy. The one time they haven't done it that I saw in recent history, which I think they should have done, is in My Hero Academia. They did a whole episode dedicated to Bakugo. He's not the antagonist. He's another one of the characters. He's like the Vegeta character of the show. Whole episode flashbacks, talking about his journey, and then he takes a vital hit. Like he should have died, but they didn't. They're pussies, so they let him live. But classic model. Yep, you can show the flashback, show him his kids, show their come up. You're going to die. So that was kind of funny. I don't know if that's like a theater thing, but that I was like, yeah, I know how this ends. You're not gonna be at episode 8, buddy.
Happens every time.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap for you, big guy. But my last thought was second to last thought. Why did the president wait so long to use that card? Like, you see these nukes firing off. Like, I didn't understand what the thought process of that was. Like, did he owe somebody in Atlanta money, or like what was going on? I didn't really.
He's like, the hose is out there.
I didn't understand that. That really confused me, because I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah, that felt weird. I think the last thought was
shock.
I guess. But yeah, definitely watch Paradise. I'm excited for season 2 whenever it comes out. Hopefully they don't do like with Severance and wait 3 years for the show to come out. I'm probably gonna read some reviews on it. They've only got like 3 critic reviews, but there's a lot of people that did individual reviews. So I'm curious.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure like how excited I am for season 2 of Paradise. Like I heard a lot of people talking about it. I know as a JBP, like it's crazy because I listened to the Joe Budden podcast while they talked about it. I just kind of zoned out whenever they talked about it. I was like, I don't watch the show, I don't care, and I just whatever. Then my wife watched the show, and I'd walk in, see some stuff, and just go about my day. And I never watched it. And then I was just like, you know what? Let me just see. Like a lot of people are talking about it. Let's see what it is. And my thing with television shows is like, you got to go out on top. Like if you got a show that has 3 great seasons, end it at 3 seasons. Don't go for 6. Don't try to hit 10 and then you got 6 seasons that are trash or 2 seasons that are mid and it just goes out with a wet fart. Like you got to go out on top if you can. And with these TV shows, man, it's like you've got to the most important, and it's probably not fair, but the most important part of your TV show or your TV series is the last episode or the last season. So, like, for me, the show was good up until the last episode. Now I'm kind of like, the first 7 episodes are kind of like it kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth because the conclusion was so bad. And that's kind of what happened with shows like Game of Thrones, where it's like elite television, and then the final season, it's like, oh, this shit is kind of trash. Like, what was I doing? Or like Insecure, the final episode of Insecure was ass. And I'm like, man, I just feel like I wasted 6 seasons of my time watching this show. Like, you've got to nail the ending for me. For me, you have to nail the ending for the whole show to be good.
That's a fool's errand in this area. There's
well,
really
okay,
no way
it's like eating the like if you get like a milkshake, and it's your whatever milkshake that you like, your favorite flavored milkshake, right? You're drinking it. It's got whipped cream. It's got a cherry. You're just like, oh man, this is great. I'm loving this. It's perfectly blended. It's not too thick, not too watery. It just everything is just working. You're just guzzling it down and all that stuff. And then you get to the very last end of it. You get to the very last end of that milkshake, and then you find a roach in there. And it's like, God damn it. That's now the whole milkshake is
over. That's the bit extreme, but I kind of see what you're saying.
It's the same thing.
Looking at there's 59 reviews of episode 7, 10 out of 10, 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 hold on, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
What?
10 out of 10,
3 out of 10 is crazy.
It's 10 out of 10 except for 2 reviews.
That 3 out of 10 is nasty. Someone was just hating at that point.
Yeah, that's it. Or maybe they watched a lot of TV. I don't know. I don't.
3 out of 10 is nasty. You can't go that far down. That wasn't that bad.
Let's see. 13 reviews for episode 10. Let's see if it's more. 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, amazing, 10 out of 10.
Okay, now we're glazing.
4 out of 10, 4 out of 10. Oh, see,
okay.
This must be.
All right.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here are your people. 4 out of 10 ruins the show. 4 out of 10 poor end. 3 out of 10 weak finale.
Let's go.
5 out of 10 useless. 4 out of 10 plot holes and contrived timing.
Yes. Yes.
But that's what I'm saying. I try not to watch shows with that mindset. Like, I try to watch to enjoy it, but I guess some stuff is so blatant. I think now with things not being episodic, like where you can watch stuff back to back to back, you remember more. Like back in the day, we had to wait a week. You don't remember everything. Like, some shit will slip through the cracks. So I think now writers have to be more cognizant of, like, hey, does this make sense? Is there continuity with this show? So, and oh man, unrelated but similarly related, Dragon Ball, right? They put on a show called Dragon Ball Daima, which great. I think I'm in the same. I don't think you're ever gonna watch this show, but great. They do great things. The animation, elite. The soundtrack, elite. Like the storyline is pretty elite. The last 2 episodes causes more problems for the Dragon Ball universe. Oh, so okay. Before Dragon Ball Daima, there's a show called Dragon Ball Super. The problem is both these shows are after the Majin Buu saga. So pretty much after the last saga in Dragon Ball Z. Both these shows are after that incident. It's 2 completely different shows. Especially what they did with Daima. Daima is like a fucking okay. First of all, Super is a big cash grab. Super was fucking garbage, except the end. The end was fire, right? But with Daima, what they did was essentially, spoiler alert, it was like a fucking fan service fever dream. So the premise of the show, all the Z fighters get turned to the kid, get turned into kids, which is the premise of Dragon Ball GT, which is made by the same creator, Akira Toriyama, R.I.P. But he didn't like. That's not his show, but he owns the intellectual property. The exact same premise of that show is Goku gets turned into a kid and he has to go find Dragon Balls. It's the same premise for this show, right? And then throughout the show, another major spoiler, which is like a big deal for the fans, is that Vegeta goes Super Saiyan 3, which he never did in the entire Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. Just never happens. However, in Dragon Ball Super, he surpasses that. They just never show it. It's just weird shit going on, right? Last two episodes. So back to Dragon Ball GT. There's a power up in there, which is Super Saiyan 4, which does not exist at all in Super. It's not a thing, just doesn't exist. But then in this show, Goku goes Super Saiyan 4. And it's just like, okay, what is this? This doesn't make any sense, because then in Dragon Ball Super, the highest power up is called Ultra Instinct. There's a lot going on. It's a weird, they've messed up the storyline. So you're telling me these things happen at the same time, but there's no mention of any of this stuff in the latest story, because like the Dragon Ball Super story is still ongoing right now, like in the manga. Diamond's just a show. It's never mind. I need to talk to Lowski. I need somebody that understands what's going on. Yeah, when you're talking about massive plot holes, like none of this shit makes any sense. It's cool. It was cool to watch, but it's like if you think about like the timeline of the story, it doesn't make it doesn't exist, which I think is cool. I wish more shows would do that, but you should say, hey, this is a different timeline, or hey, this is a standalone story, or do the cheesy thing at the end where, hey, we erased everybody's memory at the end of the show, so nobody remembered they did all these things, or just so there's still continuity with the timeline. But just to throw in Super Saiyan 4, it just doesn't make any sense. It's fucking stupid. But anywho, that's my mini anime rant for the day. But great show. But again, overthinking it. Watching it to enjoy it, it was good. When you think about the grand scheme of things for an ongoing story that's still happening, it just messes up everything. But whatever. I'm done.
Yeah, I've got nothing to add to Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super or whatever they're doing now.
Super was fire. The end, look, even if
Dragon Ball Super Smash Brothers Melee.
If you don't watch any of Super, if you just watch the Tournament of Power, the ending of it is fire. Like that shit had the internet shutting down back when it was airing live. Also, another thing that pisses me off is that the Dragon Ball Super manga is way better than TV show. They just leave out all kinds of interesting details that they just didn't put in the TV show. At this point, I really think that shit, it's literally a cash grab. Like it's bad. It's bad, but I'm gonna finish reading it at some point. But anywho, what do we got? Oh, my last thing is daylight savings.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I feel like I'm usually good with daylight savings, but I think having a child, you see it differently. A week ago, my child was asleep by 7:30. A week later, 9 o'clock, we're still fighting for 4 hours. What the fuck is going on? And then me, I wake up early, so I wake up at like 5 o'clock or 5 something to go to gym, but then I'm still waking up at that time. But technically, that means waking up at like 4. So I don't know. It's all fucked up. Wasn't the government trying to get rid of this shit? Defund this shit. Fuck the kids who got to go to school in the dark. Get them headlamps. All right. Put LEDs on the buses.
What them light up shoes?
Do something, but yeah, this shit is for the fucking birds. But as we wrap, do our long running inconsistent song of the week. And I do have some. I did listen to some different music this week. It's a matter if I can locate said music that I listened to. Oh, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I was gonna say for me, it wasn't about listening to anything really different, because there hasn't been a lot of stuff that's been put out like that was new. But I was listening to some playlist, and this artist came up on, and I forgot how good she was. It's her name is Ray Khalil. I think that's how her name is pronounced. Um, she's signed to Anderson Paak's label, so you can kind of get an idea how what kind of music she makes. She has a song with Anderson Paak, but I will go with the song. All the songs on this album is called "Crybaby." It came out last year. All the songs in there are fire, but I will go with Carpinteria featuring Freddie Gibbs.
Freddie Gibbs just put out a new song recently. I think today actually. But like you said, to the point of like music not coming out. So what I will do is like I'll listen to albums sometimes, kind of like with the Free Nationals, and sometimes my brain is just not tuned. I'll just listen to something like whatever, or not finish it. So I'll go back and listen to stuff. So I went back and listened to this album that came out 2016 by a Tribe Called Quest called "We Got It From Here." Thank you for your service. And a song that stood out to me on there is called, if I can find it, I think I heard it randomly on a just random playlist. It's called Conrad Tokyo featuring Kendrick Lamar and Jack White. Solid album.
That's an odd pairing.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I went back and listened to the documentary too, because of the Bigger Picture interview or episode with will.i.am, and I forgot how nasty will.i.am is. He's got one of my favorite songs on there. He produced Don't Trip, The Game, Ice Cube. But that album is fire. Like, again, The Game does not have a bad album in its discography. I don't care what you say. But yeah, that album's fire. It's about to be I think the 10-year anniversary of it this year, so we might need to do something on that. But yeah, I ran back and listened to that. Like he has 2 songs with Jelly Roll on there. I was like, damn, that's crazy. That's a weird pairing.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, but anywho, appreciate y'all tapping in. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, even though I have not edited an episode in like 3 months, but that's cool. Follow us on YouTube. Follow me on TikTok at Espree706. I'll follow back. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Black Sinatra, Gaming with Iran, Miso fucking Soup, Hellski, McChicken, Liam G, Matthew Call, shout out to Lowski, Lethal, KJ, our entire group chat. Everybody out there holding it down. We out. Peace.